question.
So today we're going to show you how to bone out a chicken and stuff in a tray for roasting at home.
I will need you to smile more.
Huh?
I've noticed you did that on your last one.
Go.
Okay.
So today we're going to show you how to bone a chicken out and then stuff it, tie it for roasting at home. So we've got a whole chicken here, it's about 2.2 to 2.6 kilos in size. We're going to remove the whole carcass inside, then bone out the thigh bones, the drumsticks bones, the wing and the breast cavity. Really popular option in the farm shop and both the butcher shop because they're quick, easy, and with them all being boned out, we're going to stuff it as well with a gluten-free sausage meat stuffing. What makes it a nice option is once it's in the tray, load it up straight in the oven. It's quick, it's easy, it takes about an hour and a half cooking. You can slice it up, and what a lot of our customers do is have some on the Sunday, and if there's any left over, or we thought cold sandwiches throughout the week. So let's get started. So we're going to take it down the backbone first, slice it open to refill the meat. I always take the wings off because we can sell the wings and do, it just gives you another option with them. In there. The other wing. There's a lot of spinning around. I always spin the chicken, I find it easier. You might get a headache watching me do it, but that's how I do it. Everyone's different, everyone does them all different. I just find this way for me the easiest. So I've taken off the wings now and I'm kind of coming at the chicken on the back. I scooped it off there and then it reveals a thigh bone there, which is this little bone here. It can be a little bit tricky. Just pop it off. And all you're doing is it's almost like an oyster cut from reverse. So you're kind of opening the chicken up. Then I'm going to spin it around and I'm going to do exactly the same, just on the opposite side. So I'm going to take it from a different angle.
How many chickens are you boned out in your life, do you reckon?
I've probably lost count at 1,000. But again, doing something like this is, when you've got a few, it's really quick, it's really easy. And a lot of customers, when they see us doing it, they always look at it and think, that's quite tricky. But I always think it's brilliant to hear customers doing it themselves. So if ever you guys want to try something like this, I always think do it. So some people take out the whole carcass in the middle as a whole. I always prefer cutting it in half and taking it out like that. Put it to one side. So we got all our chicken carcasses to one side. We mince them up and we also sell some offal tubes. And I find it easier removing it like this because you can just get a little bit closer to the bone, so you're leaving more meat on the breast, more meat in the roasting tray. Like this, really, really careful when you get to this point because of how close you are on the other side. You really don't want to go through. If you do go through, it's not the end of the world. And again, spin it round, bring it down.
So if someone's doing it at home and they've got the bones, what can I do with it instead of mincing it?
So if they're at home, what I would suggest, and again, if you're just getting used to it, you might leave a little bit of meat on the bones. You've got chicken stock, you've got chicken soups, you've got loads of different options like that. I would definitely suggest it. Most people forget that with one chicken you can get up to 3 or 4 meals maybe. You've got the chicken itself for roasting, you've got to do soup the next day, and then after the soup you've still got some carcass left, I'll do stock. And the best thing about stock is you can produce it, then freeze it, because chances are you're going to use the stock for a roast one weekend. So now we're down to this section here. The wings have been removed, you've got the breastbones here, you've got the inner fillets on the chicken breast. So what makes this nice and meaty is we leave it all in. So it's the best parts of the chicken. We could bone out the wings, but it leaves it a little bit, I prefer to take them off personally, because when you're getting a nice slice of meat, so if I was to lay the stuff in there, just to show you guys, when you're getting a nice slice of meat, you've got the chicken breast and you've got the stuffing on a nice slice. So I just think it personally looks better.
Yeah, makes sense.
So we've got left now, we've got the thigh bone and the drumstick bone and exactly the same on the other side. So again, I always try and aim for the middle. You might not hit it straight away first time. That's the first time I think I've ever hit it first time. And then just open it up. Again, it's not a race at this point. It's just, I think, just try and leave as much on the bone as much off the bone as possible. So at the moment, with the weather, we probably do about 12, 13 of these a week, and then the shop does about the same amount, and then we also sell them online, so they are quite a nice option.
Especially because they're gluten-free as well.
Yeah, so it ticks all the boxes. It's a family pleaser, everyone's happy kind of thing. And what makes it nice is with it being served in a foil tray, is it's just job done. Straight home, straight in the oven. More time to worry about what's being drunk and watched on TV.
Like that. So how long do you reckon this will take to cook in the oven?
So I always tell customers anywhere from an hour to an hour and a half, only because some of the new modern ovens just cook things so quick, and some of the slower older ovens like an Argo or a Rayburn, they just need that extra half an hour. But I always suggest to them temperature probe. Whenever it comes to chicken, you want it cooked perfectly, always probe your chicken, I suggest to 72 degrees. That's the magic number, that's the number that I always tell customers, that's what you're looking for, 72 degrees. As soon as it's got to that, pull it out. It's always going to go up a couple of degrees, but I say to them, if you put it out at 72, you've got that couple of degrees to play with. That's kind of like your safety zone. You know you're going to be absolutely fine if you put it out of that. It will probably come up 3 or 4 degrees.
Yeah, but while it's resting?
While it's resting. But if you put it out at 72, you know, if you probed it, you might have missed the centre breast. You might have kind of come a little bit lower down, which means you want to try and probe it at the thickest point, which I'll show you when we've got it in the tray. But if you probe it and you miss the centre breast, it doesn't matter because you've still got a couple of degrees to play with.
Yeah.
So the chicken breast is all boned out now. Before I kind of wrap it up, I just do another visual check, run my hands around, just to make sure there's no little bits of bone, nothing left over from boning out the carcass, because you don't want that in there really. And looking at it, absolutely fine. It's normally around the wing bones and in the drumsticks. Sometimes you get that a little bit of bone around it, but it's all nice and clean. So at this point, I open it all up like this. Centre's done. Now you can be really fancy with the stuffing, slice open the breast, layer it in there, slice open up the other breast, layer it in there. I just find laying it in the centre of the chicken like that, a nice big portion, just makes it easier. It makes it easier for tying. It not only makes it easier for holding up when tying and when cooking, it also makes it easier when it comes to slicing. So there's nothing worse than taking it out of the tray, slicing it, and it just goes kaput. So with it like this, I just find it a lot easier. Now I fold it over like that, and then I fold it over again like that. Then you've got all the fine meat at the bottom, the dark meat, and then you've got the light meat at the top, and then like that. So that's kind of nice, firm, all ready for time. And then not forgetting, you've still got your wings to play with if you wanted to, or you can just chuck them under the carcasses for when you make your soup and then when you make your stock. So 1 chicken, 3 products, 3 meals. So now we get to this point, I've got bacon over.
Yeah, we forgot to get bacon.
We're back at it, we've got some streaky bacon now after we forgot it. So we like the unsmoked streaky bacon. We like it for 2 reasons. 1, because it not only protects the chicken when cooking, because 2, whoever's got the job of carving the chicken gets the job of eating the bacon before the chicken makes it out on the table. So I like the carving of it.
Good.
So
Chris, I've noticed you stealing your knife. Can you just explain that a little bit, please?
yeah, so I was always taught little and often. So by that, you're okay?
Yeah, I'm alright.
You're just running a knife across it every once in a while like that to try and keep the edge on it. You don't want it too sharp, because I'll cut myself too much. You want it just at a nice point where it just makes the job easy. It's always taught to try and make the job easy.
Yeah.
So back to chicken, you've got the bacon over the top, you've got the tray to one side, and then we want to start putting a few strings around it. Now you don't want to put absolute loads of string around it because it's going to be cooking in a tray. The tray is going to take the shape of the chicken. You just want to put enough over it, I think, to be able to pick it up and put it in and out the tray when it is. So it's more practical. So I always do 2, always in this location. And then another string, which I think is quite a crucial string, flipping it around and just sending it straight through the middle. Now that's keeping all that thigh meat in the bottom, all the dark meat, and that's keeping the breast in a nice place. And then spin back round, and all it's going to need is probably another 2 or 3 strings. Then we're done. So again, whenever we do these in the shop, customer always comes in and says, oh, they look really nice. We probably end up selling 2 or 3 before they even make it out on the counter.
They just fly out, don't they?
They're just quick and easy, and people love them. And you know, we make them all fresh. People take them home, they put them in the freezer, and it's just another option to do. Even if it's a cheeky midweek roast on a Wednesday, if you're busy on a Sunday, and voila, job done.
Nice.
So it holds itself nicely, and again, like I said, we only really string it to keep it nicely in the tray, and then I sold it like that. So again, when it comes to cooking, 180, gas mark 5, gas mark 6, for about an hour to an hour and a half, depending on your oven. We do have probes in the shop. If you've got one at home, I really strongly suggest probe it. You want to be aiming for this part of the meat, straight through the breast. I would probe it maybe after an hour, bring out, check it. If it's still around the 65 degrees mark, pop it back in. You're really looking for that 72, that magic number. Put it out, job done.
What temperature again?
180, gas mark 5, gas mark 6. If you've got an air fryer that's up for a job, chuck it in there. Again, I don't know what air fryer settings you might have, but I'm sure it'll do a fantastic job. And then you've got your other carcass, your other jobs, if you were to attempt to do it at home, but that's kind of how we sell them in the shop like that. Voila, bone chicken done.